We are here. 5 p.m. A letter to our community. All right. Here it is. Celebrating The Last of Us Day 2. A special Last of Us Day community update. Hey, y'all. Yeah, that's lovely and great, Naughty Dog. What are you doing with The Last of Us right now? In short, we're working on it. We see the community comments as many of you clamor for multiplayer and want updates. For now, we'll say that we love that what the team is developing, and we want to give them time to build out their ambitious project. We'll reveal more when it's ready. To that end, we've been busy growing our team inside the kennel since The Last of Us Part 2 launched, and we're currently in full swing in hiring for multiplayer-related positions, hint, hint. So if you or somebody you know qualifies for anything you see in our jobs page, please apply. In the meantime, another Last of Us Day comes to a close. We hoped you had as much fun with us today as we have putting it together, and we will be watching closely for all the epic photos, arts, and stories you send our way. In appreciation, Rochelle and Naughty Dog. Well, it was a note. It was a note. I think like right now, more than anything, still hiring, right? Still feels a way of 1 or 2 years. I think in a way, it is definitely a lack of a better word is a lesson, right? Nick, it's good to see you here, buddy. It's a lesson for me as a content creator, quote unquote, and I hate using this word, I've already said this before 1,000 times, as an influencer in the space, right? I get that it's not ready, and I know it's not ready, and I know that's their way. Like that one line is like, look, there's nothing, we have nothing to show you. Like, we have nothing to show you. Let us show you what we have when we're ready. So I get that. The thing about it though is like, as again, I hate to use the word influencer, we tend, and I'm speaking for myself, we get overhyped. Like, we get hyped really quick because we're big fans. Like, we are fans enough to make content for said game, and so we get really hyped because we are big fans. We grind, we edit, we make thumbnails, do all that. So me being a super fan like you out there, you may identify with this. I do my best to get hyped because I want it. I want it. You know what I mean? I want it so bad. And I understand that they wanted to make the best thing possible. And I understand like they want to hit us with a trailer that's just going to be like one of those moments where we just all get hyped. You see the logo, boom, Naughty Dog. You're like, oh my God. That's what they want, right? And I get it. And it's just a lesson, man. It's like I wanted it so bad for Gamescom. I wanted it so bad for the State of Play PlayStation, right? I wanted it so bad for The Last of Us Day. And I could just hear people at, or like a community manager at Naughty Dog. I have not yet met Rochelle Snyder, but probably Arnie, right? Arnie could be like, we didn't say anything. You know what I mean? We literally said it's a note, and you think it's going to be a trailer? We didn't say anything. We just said it was a note. And historically, the Last of Us Day is literally just merch and avatars, and so. When, as me, an influencer or a content creator for Last of Us, starts sitting here trying to read the tea leaves or trying to put everything together, you're just sitting there like, wait, okay, they haven't announced anything Gamescom, they haven't announced anything State of Play. You have Neil talking about the multiplayer. You have all these things happening. Last of Us Day, it's right there, right? It makes sense. We are in one of the biggest droughts video game wise in such a long time. Yes, I understand there's a pandemic, and I understand that's delayed so many things, but I'm talking about historically, you would have Naughty Dog or anybody, like any video game company would say, hey, here's a logo, here's a trailer, here's like a little tease. And we're not even at that point yet. So it's either like they're building this engine or they're building something, they're programming or coding something that is so massive that they don't have anything ready, like no art or anything on top of that. Maybe it's all content. Like, I think they want to surprise us. They want to give us a polished product. Meanwhile, me, the faction fan, the factioneer, you, the faction fan as well, we would take a concept art and we will lose our mind, right? That's where we are. But I've already said this before. And if someone from Naughty Dog is watching, welcome. You're cool to lurk. And I've already said this before. Last of Us factions, multiplayer, Uncharted multiplayer, we would take anything. You know? We would take anything, right? We would take anything because we love your game, and you are the masterclass, the world of everything, right? You're like one of the best multiplayers with such a small team. You create tsunamis of awesomeness, right? The most underrated multiplayer of all time. So we will take anything, like anything, and I think that's what we were looking for. Just anything, especially on our day. This is our day. You know, this is a day for the Last of Us fans. And Naughty Dog, you celebrate the single player really well. You celebrate all facets of the single player really well. Multiplayer, we're just looking for a bone here, brother. That's all we're looking for, man. I'm happy that you retweeted Tlu Strategist. I'm happy you did that. Do that more. Do that more for Last of Us factions clips. Do that more, because if you want to, this, I know this line is directed at us right here. Yes, this line right here. Yeah, that's lovely, great, Naughty Dog. But what are you doing with The Last of Us right now? That is not for the single player people. That is not for us. That is not for them. Or in the single player people. That is for us, the multiplayer. You're talking about us. What? In short, we're working on it. We see the community comments as many of you clamor for multiplayer. I think we're beyond clamor. We're clammed up. We're festering. We look like a big bloater right now. You know what I mean? Well, that's me right now. I'm a big bloater, and I'm literally a pus bucket right now. That is me. For now, we want to say that the team is developing and want to give them time to build their ambitious project. I already know what that means. They've done it before with the Uncharted Lost Legacy, but you have to understand what Lost Legacy. Remember when Lost Legacy came around? Lost Legacy was built on the Uncharted 4 engine that they already built. It was already good to go, and you have to remember when Last of Us when Uncharted 4 came out, when they released that. Remember, the Lost Legacy came out of nowhere, like a year later or a year and a half later, and it's kind of crazy to see that they had two back-to-back AAA full-fledged single-player titles. You got to understand it, like back-to-back AAA titles in a single like video game cycle almost. They had two, right? But this multiplayer that they're building has no frame. There's nothing. The only thing they probably have is the combat engine and the engine itself from The Last of Us Part 2, right? They only have that to work with. And you may be saying, Sancho, they did it before with PlayStation 3, right? PlayStation 3, multiplayer was never supposed to be, never existed. Multiplayer was supposed to be a co-op. The co-op didn't work. The architecture of the PlayStation 3 could not handle the AI. So they scrapped it. Last minute, they went to their multiplayer team, and literally the multiplayer team threw together factions in like this crazy chaotic vibe, and it ended up working, and no one knew that it worked. It was a footnote to one of the greatest single players of all time, The Last of Us Day. The Last of Us 1, right? Factions. In fact, it was called Factions and not multiplayer. It was called Factions, not multiplayer, because at the time, there was a stigma that multiplayers were thrown in, and Last of Us didn't want that. They were like, we don't want people to think we just threw in this multiplayer. But when they threw it in, it works. Like, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so now, fast forward to now, right? Last of Us Part 2. We're here. We're waiting. We get an announcement. Last of Us Part 2 will not have factions, right? In fact, actually, they announced factions. They announced Last of Us Part 2 with no word about factions. And all of us clamoring fans, all of us bloaters, we went crazy on social media. We started off a social media hashtag. Before you know it, we got an official response from Naughty Dog. An official response from Naughty Dog themselves saying we are working something. It's going to be amazing. And it's going to be a standalone. And then eventually Neil Druckmann in interviews, they're working on something. It's amazing. It's going to be a standalone game, right? And now we're like, okay, standalone? Hello? A standalone Naughty Dog multiplayer game? Are you kidding me? You know what? I'll just read. You're just going to have to take my word for it when I read it to you, okay? This is what they said. We wanted to address the multiplayer in The Last of Us Part 2. As we stated, the single-player campaign is far and away the most ambitious project Naughty Dog had. They really love that statement. I've never undertaken. Likewise, development began on the evolution of our factions mode from The Last of Us Part 1. The vision of the team grew beyond an additional mode that could be included with our enormous single-player campaign. Wanting to support both visions, we made the difficult choice, and Last of Us Part 2 will not include an online mode. However, you will eventually experience the fruits of our team's online ambition, but not as a part of The Last of Us Part 2. When and where we realize is still yet to be determined. But rest assured, as a big fan of factions, as the rest of our community, we're excited to share more when it's ready. So, wasn't really, you know, they were like, we're not sure if it's how we're going to give it to you. We're not sure, but now we know, right? I think now we know. And there's this said in interviews in between here, but now at least we get a official type of post. The ambitious project continues. We're revealing more when it's ready. To the end, we've been busy growing the team since, and so that's where we're at. I've been recording all this. I forgot I was recording all this sort of thing. I might just upload this and be like my reaction to the whole thing. Am I bummed? Yes. Let's be realistic. But this is just a sign that it's just really super far away. It's a lot further away than I think. It's like a lot further away than we think. It's like really super duper far. My gut tells me that it was ambitious project. They made a factions revolution, and they probably someone said let's try a battle royale. Battle royale kept growing. They have it. They have the layouts. They have the maps. Maybe the code's not working. I think whatever it is, it's not going to be available on the PlayStation 4. Maybe they're trying to make it a way to make it available on the PlayStation 4. Maybe they're waiting for this partnership with PlayStation and PC, whatever shake hands, and maybe they're waiting for that to kind of solidify to get more users on the PC side of things, so that they could release their big dog, no pun intended, big dog PC project, because maybe the PlayStation 5 architecture can't handle it. Maybe they're trying to figure out if we don't need, like, we can't have this project on PlayStation 4. We need to abandon it. It's PlayStation 5 only. There's so many things, man. There's so many things out here. Bottom line is they need more. They need more help. They need more help to make it. It's exciting. It's exciting that it's wild to me, to be honest. That I guess this will be the last button that we leave, and then I'll, like, quote unquote, end the video. It's interesting to me that the button in this whole thing, I guess, would be that they're making it. It's actually has some power behind it, like the studio is behind it. It's not just a small team. It's going to be a Last of Us standalone multiplayer, and it's really super duper early. Super duper early. And that another thing is that I hope today they see how much we're ready, right? How much this hype is growing. It is insane. To the point they're like, we said we're leaving a note. Bro, we're leaving it. We said a note. It wasn't a keynote, Sancho. It was a note, brother. It was a note, man. And I think they just want to wow us with a polished product, with a polished look. I think maybe, honestly, this is like postscript, PS. Honestly, I think it's because they want to make sure that when they say Last of Us multiplayer or Last of Us Battle Royale, that they have everything ready to roll out to convince you that it's just not another Battle Royale. And I think that's the case, because if they would have came out today and be like, yes, we're making a Last of Us Battle Royale with nothing else, right? No logo, no screenshot, just that statement. We will get hype. We will get crazy. Last of Us faction fans, we would feel justified. Praise Joel type vibes, right? But the people that they need to get to make that pop won't be convinced. Does that make sense? The people that they need to convince to buy it, to make it super successful, because it's not a single player. Again, it doesn't have a single player action where people will buy it for them to make money, for them to buy battle passes, whatever. They need to convince the public that they could knock it out of the park, right? I'm not saying it's a battle royale. I'm just simply saying if there's no way that a standalone multiplayer would be just factions. There's just no way. It would have been out by now. If they were making a factions part 2, it would have been out by now. They already said that they made it, and like if you look at the first quote, it's like they made it, and then team had like a wild ambition. It would have been out by now. So that tells me that a battle royale is coming, and they want to make sure that they're ready to roll when all the best sales pitch to everybody out there on the internet to say, you need to buy a PlayStation 5. You need to get one now. You need to have one because we are making the best battle royale ever. With factions too. Yeah.